Alrighty, so welcome back to another video. Hi, we're going to talk about some issues that are kind of not really that serious, but they should be very, very serious. It's the President of the United States, after all. He wouldn't spread misinformation about my community. So I'm so happy that you're back for another video, and we're going to get into it. I do think that it's a little bit ridiculous, like some of these comments that have been said, but we're going to cover it. We got some video clips. We're going to end on it like a little goofy note kind of thing. So yeah, we're just going to start off with the first one here. This is about Trump's comments on the CHIPS Act. So the CHIPS Act fund the production of chips using leading-edge transistors. Trans. So here's the president here. This clip's from Forbes, and we're just going to play it.
Is the chips. We had this ridiculous CHIPS Act where you give billions of dollars to a company and they didn't even know what the hell to do with it. You give them billions of dollars, they say they're going to build. Nobody knew what to do with it. And of course, the standards were so high. If you weren't transgender, as an example, you didn't qualify. So they get the money, they'd look all over for transgender people to run the company, large portions. They couldn't find them. They weren't into the chip making business, I guess, right? They had other things on their mind. But this was the Biden fools, those idiots that almost destroyed our country.
Okay, you get the idea, right? So, yeah, not anything to do with trans people, but this is another, like, hey, we're going to talk about trans people as much as we can to talk about trans people. Jesus, you know, that's what we do. That's America for you. And truly, I do believe if the president would have just stopped in 2016, wouldn't have ran again, ever, there would have been people down the history books been like, oh my God, that was the best president forever. They would have said that forever. And those same people now are going to be like, yeah, no, that guy was like really obsessed with like trans people. Like, I guarantee you that's like going to be the takeaway in the future. So, you know, whatever. It's just, that's how it's kind of going, right? I want to go back in time a little bit. This is from March 4th, 2025. Okay. So this is a Fox 5 news clip, but I couldn't find like this exact part and a clip of it, so I had to like watch through the video. Please like and subscribe. It's a lot to have to. Anyway, I'm gonna play a little bit because it's just kind of fun, goofy, silly. This is like earlier when this administration came together. You know, we still had everybody in the administration before everyone was like fired, right? But we have Vance, we have the speaker, Mike Johnson, in the back, and they're just having a good old time. They're having a little giggle in between everything. So we're just going to play a little bit before they start saying the comment, and some of you may know what I'm getting to here, but yeah.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
It's not real. It's not real. Everything that was just listed as wasteful spending there, by the way, is absolutely paling in comparison to the Iranian war that we've lost and continue to fight in, but sure. Anyway, here's a comment from Nancy Mace, friend of the show. This was just a month ago. Yeah. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, it's always fun, right? Animals should not be used for radical transgender experiments. And it goes on. No trans mice. We need our Trans Mice Act ends it. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? Isn't this the best time? I didn't sign up. I did not sign up. I did not sign up for this. But this is the timeline that we live in. And literally this stuff writes itself. I can literally just keep going on about whatever because they just keep doing it. So it's like I could literally cover this stuff forever. It's an endless stream of like, content. So if you want to keep going, I can keep going too. Anyway, and I know it's really hard when you have trans derangement syndrome to understand this, but the word they're looking for is transgenic mice. Now, the prefix trans means across, beyond, or through. I know that might rub some people the wrong way because that's what transgender is. It's above, beyond, or through the normal construct of gender kind of thing, if you want to look at it like that, right? But anyway, the transgenic mice are laboratory mice that have foreign DNA, often from human or other species, artificially inserted into their genome. It helps identify, like, health conditions in humans because their DNA sequence is so similar to ours. Gene identification, microinjection, implementation, breeding, disease modeling, drug testing, biological studies, and trans. They're trans. Okay? My bad, they're trans. Because this one was from, let's see, July 16th. So yeah, again, this was very recently. This was like a day after the CHIPS Act comment, I think, if I remember correctly. Something like that. Something like that. Anyway, Trump addresses the nation. I'm going to skip ahead 30 seconds into it, okay? I'm going to skip ahead 30 seconds. We're just going to look at this little clip. It's just a little clip here. The Associated Press,
All over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murderers, many of whom killed more than one person.
40 seconds in.
We had Transgender For Everybody, men and women sports.
Okay. This is 40 seconds in. Doesn't even tie in like what he was talking about beforehand. He was talking about like immigration stuff. And then he just starts transgender for everyone. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean when I say like he is like the most trans obsessed president we've ever had? Actually, that's completely factual, by the way. Like there's never been a president that's gone on TV and just been like trans, everybody trans, everybody trans, everybody's trans. Like I know that, children are precious to this administration, maybe a little bit too precious, right? But like, maybe don't dictate how children need. Anyway, Jesus, I can't. Anyway, this is the exact same speech, right? The exact same speech. I want to like go into a little bit later into this, that this was near the end. And I just, I want to show you that the president is like breaking. He's like, wants this SAVE Act so badly. It's literally the only chance that they may have at winning the midterms, right? Because there's like no way at all that they're winning the midterms. Even like the conservative guys that like whenever I go out and like I'm mall walking or wherever, like the tone has shifted. And in public, I have noticed that a lot of people have changed their minds about the president, and rightfully so, right? The conversation whenever they did like the alligator Alcatraz in Florida within this like group of like older conservative guys that I see every once in a while, they were like, "Oh, what's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?" They were just talking. I overheard that literally like when that was like a thing, right? But then now I'm hearing like, "Oh, I can't afford anything. It's because of this stupid war and the so like they're not on board. Literally nobody's on board with this anymore." But anyway, yeah, this is just like the president actually getting mad for once. I mean, if you've ever seen him like actually get mad, and like, is this how he gets behind closed doors kind of thing? I wonder. Like I said, end of the speech.
But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please?
So I don't know if anybody else noticed that in the speech because it was a really weird tone shift, right? So yeah, this is more of the goofy side of what's going on. But like I've said a million times, like the Stephen Miller and all the comments that are going on with that, certainly a scarier time whenever, like, there's some other comments that aren't so nice, right? So like it's just like, yeah, we're just talking about the president today. We're just talking about the president today for a minute here. So this is from September 23rd, 2022, and I just want to end on this because I think it's like a little goofy, right? And it's funny. It's just a little funny thing, and a DJ needs to remix this. I haven't heard a DJ remix of this. I listen to like underground electronic music often. I'm part German. It's like part of like what I like. So and yeah,
Country gate, to keep our country gate, to keep our country gate, to keep our country gate.
it needs remixed, and it needs remixed now, and it needs remixed into a song that I can jam out to. And so I think that would be like a really fun kind of thing. It should be played in all the clubs forever. It should be in every gay club forever. There should be remixes of this. And and it should be like, it could be mixed into the YMCA song too. If you really wanted to be funny with it, just throwing some ideas out there. Anyways, so I am trying to make sense of the one thing. It's like, does the president wish they would have transitioned at one point? Because if we've learned anything from the amazing digital circus, that internalized transphobia doesn't look good on anyone. It kind of makes you a jerk. It kind of makes you, name call and be like a certain way. But, I don't know. I'm just trying to like make sense of things. Anyway, we'll be back with another video soon enough, right? Stay safe out there, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, give it a sub, no pressure, but yeah, until the next one.